6:08. Aucklanders are reacting angrily to Mayor Wayne Brown's suggestion the city's rates could have to jump by 22.5% if nothing else is done to fill a budget hole. The shortfall has blown out to a staggering $325 million. Auckland Council Finance Committee Chair Maurice Williamson joins me this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
22.5%, that's a huge percentage. Is this really going to happen?
Well, it will depend on 20 councillors, and I can't speak for the other 19 what they're going to do. And I think Mayor Brown's comments need to be taken as what he said. It would be 22.5 if nothing else is done. Now, there are plenty of other proposals. One of them is to cut spending across the board. There's been a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth. I've been on this show one morning, I think, with Forrest and Bird, who didn't want us to cut this, and the arts don't want us to cut this, and these people don't want us. The second thing we can do is increase the debt. I'm pretty reluctant to do that, given we've got 11.7 billion of debt already and spending a huge amount, about $1.5 million a day on interest costs for that. So I don't really want to do that. One of the levers we've got left is the selling of the airport shares. We own about 2.2, 2.3, depending on the share price of the day, billion worth of shares in Auckland Airport. If we were to sell that, we would drop our debt by that amount, by 2-point-something billion, and therefore our debt servicing costs would be dropped by 80, 90, even 100 million a year. So if we could do all those things, do the cost cutting, put a little bit more debt on the books and sell the Auckland Airport shares, we're talking of only a 7% rate increase, and that's mitigated by a couple of other bit of technical things for about a 4.66, which is what we consulted on.
So is this a bit of scaremongering from me?
No.
Because we know that he's always wanted to sell those shares, right?
Well, first of all, let's give Mayor Brown a break. He's just been handed this. I can understand where politicians get defensive if they've caused it. Mayor Brown just got elected, as did I. We've come in and we've been handed this on a plate. You guys should be calling Phil Goff in London and asking, how did this happen? So he's been handed it and has got to find a solution.
Yeah, so what are the solutions apart if we wanted to retain those shares in Auckland Airport, what are our other options?
If you want to retain the shares in Auckland Airport, it's a very big increase in your rates. It has to be. Now, I don't understand why you would want to. First of all, we don't get a member on the board of that company, so we have no say in its direction. They can make decisions if they wish. Even if we did get a director, if we got one, that director has to act in the interest of the company, the airport, not in the interest of Auckland Council. So it would be of no benefit anyway. So we've got shares not earning anywhere near enough dividend to pay for themselves based on what we're expending on the interest rate of them. And so I just think it's a lay down mistake. No family, Laura, no family I know would be paying huge amount of mortgage interest payments, find in the drawer a big chunk of shares that are not returning them anywhere near enough and say, oh, we better keep them. They would sell those shares immediately, downplay their mortgage dramatically, and be better off.
Well, I guess the point of shares is that it's a long-term investment, right? So at the moment, maybe they're not, but in the future, I mean, they've done very well over the past 20 years.
Well, they've paid zero dividend for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Long-term,
well, yes, and I'd love to get the council back into the books where we may be one day able to go and buy some shares. But right now, we're faced with, we either cut costs, and I have to say the number of people that I've had coming to me, you can't cut this, you can't cut this, the arts can't have this, you can't do this. So I say, well, if you do that, then that's going to have to go onto the rates bill. And then I've got others saying you can't sell the shares. What Mayor Brown was saying yesterday is really important. He was saying, if you don't do any of these other mechanisms that are available, if you don't do any of them, then the only option left is 22.5%.
Isn't the case that the council can only increase rates by 13.5%?
Well, that's the debate that's going on right now. The problem you've got is the law demands we produce a balanced budget. So there's a 325, it's actually a 375 because there's a 50 million storm related costs as well. So let's be honest, it's 375.
Right.
What the law demands is that we have to produce a balanced budget. So the mayor has to find 375 million from somewhere. Now, if he finds it from cost cutting, it would be huge cost cutting. If he found it from just debt, we would be putting another packet onto the debt mountain we've already got. And if he finds it from some mix, I believe it'll end up, and I can't speak for the other 19 councillors, because everyone gets a vote here.
Yes.
This is not like central government. I think it'll end up with a percentage of each. There'll be some cost reductions, there'll be some debt increase, and I think that the council will, in the end, I think common sense will prevail and we will sell the airport shares.
All of them?
There'll be a bit of each, and I think then rates can be kept to the sort of 7, 8, 9.
Get rid of all the shares?
Yeah, yes. I think doing a bit of it is not a sensible idea. If you're going to sell the airport shares, you should sell them all.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time this morning. That's Auckland Council Finance Committee Chair Maurice Williamson.